Okay. Oh, it's one in Tewkesbury. Yeah. Yeah. Working there, and my boss. Yeah. That's good too. Encore.
I switched the invocation and the reading because it felt better that way when I read it out loud. So, always there is something. Always there is something that lives on when folly has burned itself out. When the leaves are sere and fall one by one. When the hair is white and the hands tremble and cannot quite find what they seek. Always there is something. Perhaps it is a whisper in the night or a great silence when the planes are gone and the cars are silent beside the highways and the children are asleep and the heart can hear a soundless voice. Always there is something beyond all time. The past that has hurt slips away. The humiliations, the failures, the resentment, the sorrow, the haunting fears dissolve into the healing night. The darkness is no longer darkness, but a comforting presence, and it comes, a great peace flooding the heart. It comes, a sense of healing forgiveness, a sense of comprehending and forgiving compassion, a meaning in which all things are comprehended and made whole, though we accepting comprehend it not. Always there is something, and we knowing this need never fear again, not hate, not grieve, for there is always something above defeat and success alike. And to know and feel this is to know great peace. We are gathered here as a community made sacred by love and memory, grief and gratitude, to honor, mourn, and celebrate the life of Alicia Ruth Page. We gather also as a circle of support and witness for her sister Lucinda, her Aunt Lucy, and her family. And on their behalf, I welcome you all here this afternoon and thank you for joining them and me. I'm Reverend Ellen Rouse Spiro, and I serve as the minister here at First Parish, where Alicia was an active and beloved member for almost 20 years. She attended faithfully even when she was struggling and in pain. She invited friends who she thought would find solace here, and she gave generously of her time and her talent and her treasure. She was an integral part of us. For Alicia was many things to many people. She was a sister, a daughter, a niece, a talented pianist, a formidable Scrabble player, I am told, an advocate for and a fellow traveler with those struggling with their mental health. Most importantly to her, I think, and to us, she was a friend. Friendship mattered a great deal to Alicia, and she was very generous in supporting and caring for her friends, as many of her friends were for her. Ultimately, grief is about love more than it is about death. If we didn't love Alicia, if we were not beloved of her, we wouldn't mourn. I believe that each human life is sacred, each human birth is sacred, and it means that each human death is sacred, not because it is a good or nice thing, but because it marks a transition of a human soul from being with us in body and mind to being with us in memory and in story and in spirit. For death does not end love. Often it reveals depths of connections we didn't fully understand. And Alicia's presence among us is felt by her absence. Much of the work of grief is learning how to be in relationship with someone who is no longer physically or emotionally present in our lives, but whom we still love, who is still in our hearts and will be as long as we all shall live. So it is good and right and true that we are here today to do that for Alicia. I'd like to invite us into a spirit of prayer, meditation, or just quiet, whatever is your spiritual practice. Translate any sacred language you hear into what speaks to you. O thou whom we know by many names, and who has no name that we can fully know. Bring your spirit of love to accompany us in our grief as we mourn the death and honor the life of Alicia Page. Accept our moments of sadness and loneliness, anger, relief, gratitude, any and all of the emotions that accompany death. Inspire in us courage and hope in the face of loss, and help us through love and memory to resurrect in our minds and hearts a fuller picture of Alicia, beyond the pain and struggle of the last few months of her life and her dying. Help us to restore her to her intelligence, her sense of humor, her perseverance in the face of adversity, her gift of music, her gift of friendship. Hold in loving care with us Lucinda, Lucy, and all the generations of Alicia's family who love her. And may we listen for that whisper, that always something underneath resentments and failures, hurts and sorrows, transforming them into forgiveness and healing, compassion and grace. May your spirit of peace be with us and all who mourn and are in need of comfort this day. Amen. I'd like to invite us to join in singing, it's actually number 205 in this hymnal, Amazing Grace. If you wish to stand, please do so. It helps us to stand and sing. If it's easier for you to sit, that is fine as well. You can rise if you want. Please be seated. The book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, not Ecclesiastes, is from the Apocrypha of the Bible. So it's not a book that was in the Bible now. It was a long time ago and somebody took it out. But it has wonderful readings too. And when I came across this, I thought of Alicia. Let those who are at peace with you be many, but let your advisors be 1 in 1,000. When you gain friends, gain them through testing and do not trust them hastily. For there are friends who are such when it suits them, and they will not stand by you in time of trouble. And there are friends who are companions at the table, but if you are brought low, they turn against you and hide themselves from you. But faithful friends are sturdy shelter. Whoever finds one has found a treasure. Faithful friends are beyond price. No amount can balance their worth. Faithful friends are life-saving medicine. And those who love God, the Spirit of life and love, will find them. Alicia Ruth Page was born January 19th, 1960, one of the two daughters of Barbara and Whitney Page, and she died on March 22nd, 2026, at the Anna Jacks Hospital after several months of illness that had her in and out of hospital and rehab. Her sister Lucinda and a couple of friends were with her that morning to say farewell. Alicia was born in Connecticut, and she moved with her family to Massachusetts when she was still very young and lived most of her 66 years here. She loved music and was a talented pianist who studied as a child at the Longy School of Music in Cambridge and then at Oberlin College. She completed coursework at the Harvard Extension Program, and she worked in various places as an administrative assistant and an office assistant over the years. I knew Alicia as an active and dedicated member here at First Parish when she joined the church in 2007. We used to hold Sunday evening services for, 6 or 7 years, and Alicia often played piano for them. She also served on our music committee, and she volunteered in our Sunday school program reading stories to our younger children. She attended several of our adult religious education and spiritual programs, including our Healing Conversations group. She was a cherished member of our community, and she developed several close friendships, as you can see from our gathering today. It's no secret, because Alicia made no secret, that she struggled with mental health and addiction issues. She did not hide from these realities, but tried actively to help herself and others through her participation in the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, and other support groups. She was very honest about her struggles and her strong desire to be well, to not suffer so deeply from the mental, emotional, and physical pain that her illness brought her. I often told her that she was one of the bravest people I had ever met. Her commitment to live a meaningful life in the face of such a constant threat of the despair her illness caused her left me in awe of her spiritual fortitude. I asked several of her friends from First Parish to share their thoughts, and I heard similar observations. Carla Corey shared that her and Alicia's conversations would always start out in a hard place, but then would lift as she named the things for which she was grateful, even when she was in considerable pain. Carla said Alicia would engage with people and really listen to them, and they to her, She helped her friends with rides and surprised me with her sense of humor. She was so smart and musically gifted, but really, it's the courage that stands out. Chris Sweetnam wrote, Alicia was an exemplar to me for how to manage and come back from adversity in pain. In her last couple of years, she'd sometimes text, questioning whether she should go on, but in the next sentence, she'd say she was going off to give someone a ride. She found purpose and set goals when I think I would have despaired. And Liz Peterson told me she bore this heavy burden without self-pity, but with a special grace. There was a lovely artistic aura about Alicia, and those who knew her appreciated her. All their words resonated with me and my experiences of Alicia. My constant wish and prayer for her was that she see herself through our eyes, that she know, or at least trust, that she was beautiful, gifted, and a courageous soul we treasured beyond price, worthy of the love that Lucinda and Lucy and her family and all of us feel for her. So I would say, dear Alicia, well done. You are a good and faithful friend. I'd like to invite Kathy from First Parish to share some of her thoughts.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm Kathy DeShane, and I'm going to try like hell to get through this. I've been a friend of Alicia's since we both started coming to First Parish about 20 years ago. Our paths crossed many times by singing in the Voices of Light chorale, where we would go to nursing homes and assisted livings on Saturdays and sing for folks. That was incredibly meaningful for her that she could use her music to help comfort others. We worked at fundraisers together and chatted at social hour. She came, as Ellen had mentioned, to our grief support group. And one night we went out to dinner because we realized that we never had any one-on-one time. It was always in a group. So we fixed that. And as we got to know each other better, we began to share our journeys. We both had challenging lives and found peace in music. We both loved helping out in our Sunday school program, only she had more patience for the little ones than I did, so I worked with the teens. Both Alicia and I also knew what it was like to live with a chronic illness. We talked about it a great deal, but the conversation always ended with one of us making an inappropriate wisecrack and laughing at ourselves. And I loved that about her. No matter what she had going on, she always was more concerned about me. Plus, she understood me in a way others may not. And I felt that I could tell her anything about me, and no matter how bad it was, she would have never deserted me. Her loyalty to her friends and deep understanding of human frailty, including her own, made her the least judgmental person I believe I have ever met. And I could always count on her perfectly timed, self-deprecating humor to put everything in perspective. Her friendship was deeply meaningful to me, and I will always miss our conversations that dug down deep until we found things that really mattered. Alicia had a brilliant mind, which was obvious to anyone who knew her, but it's her huge heart and acceptance of life's challenges that I will miss the most. Rest easy, my friend. We've got it from here.
Hi, I'm Lucy Freeman, Alicia's aunt, her mom, Barbara's sister. So nice to be here with all of you at Alicia's service. We gathered together, members of the church, the Renaissance Club, the Senior Center, family members, close friends. Alicia talked with me about all of you and how much she appreciated your friendship. That seems to be the theme today. She loved every one of you, and I'm sure you felt the same way. I feel I've been part of Alicia's whole life. I drove her mom in labor, to the hospital when Alicia was born. Alicia was on the music committee at the church, so you know how important music was to her. She liked all types of music, blues, gospel, classical, and rock. We loved to hear her play the piano. Such talent she had. Do you know Alicia was a great hiker? She scaled mountains in the West. I believe that was what gave her such a love of nature and interest in the environment. Almost every day to the end, Alicia talked with me about a job she had connected with the environment and remembered meeting with your Senator Ed Markey to lobby him for environmental legislation. Alicia was always the best Scrabble player. Her mom, Barbara, was great. Both of them helped me, and Alicia was even better. She entered competitions in Cambridge. Alicia was very kind. Through the church, she handed out food with Salvation Army. She was willing and happy to give a ride to anyone, anytime, any place. Her last job was at the Senior Center, and it was a great job for her. She knew all the resources Lowell had to offer and was so willing to help people share the information. Alicia and I talked every day, several times a day. She talked about the Senior Center, the Renaissance Club, helping organizations in Lowell, all her friends. And she listened to me, the good parts of my life, scary technology. Without Alicia, how could I copy and paste? 6 days ago, our family gathered on one of Alicia's favorite spots on earth, Nantucket Island. We shared and celebrated many aspects of Alicia's life, standing in a circle on the beach while watching a beautiful sunset. I'm happy and lucky to share with you my love for Alicia. And I'm eager to hear from all of you, Alicia's dear friends, your memories of Alicia. Alicia, we love you and we miss you.
I'm Alicia's sister, Lucinda, and welcome and thank you to all of you who have traveled from near and far to honor our wonderful Alicia. When I shared the news that Alicia had passed, one phrase that came up again and again was, "She's so kind." I can't think of a better way to begin because kindness truly was at the heart of who she was. That kindness showed up in many parts of her life, and her humor as well as her spirit. Alicia loved Scrabble. She and our mother Barbara, who lived next door for more than a decade, played Scrabble almost every day. Alicia especially loved getting a bingo, using all 7 letters for an extra 50 points. Fittingly, the word kindness is worth 66 points in Scrabble. Somehow that seems just right because kindness has been the highest score in Alicia's life. Her spirited personality was there from the very beginning. My dad loves to tell this story about when she was 5 years old. She had done something she wasn't supposed to, and Dad, who was 6'2", bent over, wagging his finger as he scolded her. After listening for a while, Alicia looked him straight in the eye and confidently said, "If you point that finger at me again, I'm going to bite it off." That fearless determination stayed with her throughout her life. As we grew older, that same spirit showed up in other ways. When we were in middle school, we would get home around 5:30, and Mom wouldn't arrive home from work till about, we would get home from school around 3:30, and Mom wouldn't get home till 5:30. I would do my homework while Alicia practiced the piano. I loved listening to her play. It simply wasn't Christmas until our family gathered around the piano and sang Christmas carols with Alicia accompanying us. Her music filled our home with warmth and joy. That love of music was matched by her love of the outdoors. As teenagers, we took several overnight hiking trips in the White Mountain National Forest. One winter, we went on a cross-country ski trip, carrying our sleeping bags, cooking gear, food, and everything else we needed on our backs. I admired Alicia's strength, her perseverance, and her deep appreciation for nature. Her love of the outdoors remained one of her defining themes in her life. When I moved to California in 1980, Alicia came to visit, and I wanted to give her the full California experience. So I took her to Chez Panisse, Alice Waters' famous restaurant. She carefully studied the menu before finally choosing her meal. When it arrived, beautifully arranged, but a very small serving, she looked at the plate, then looked at me and announced in a voice everyone nearby could hear, "Well, I guess we're paying for the ambiance." We both laughed, and after that, I knew exactly where my sister wanted to go. We headed to the local diner for meatloaf and mashed potato special. She was much happier. As her older sister, all I've ever wanted for Alicia is to be happy. She wanted the very same thing for me. As adults, we talked at least once a day, sharing the ordinary moments and the important ones. We celebrated each other's successes and carried each other's disappointments as though they were our own. Every conversation ended with the words, "I will never not love you." Now, there are many moments when I instinctively reach for the phone because I want to tell Alicia something, ask her opinion, or simply hear her voice. Those moments bring sadness, but they also bring gratitude. Every day, I see the ways she's shaped my life through kindness, through her courage, her humor, her love of music, her unwavering loyalty. I see her influence in the choices I make and the person I continue to become. I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way. Alicia lives on in all of us, the lessons she's taught us, the love she's shared, and the memories we carry. She was persevering, brave, intelligent, generous, and endlessly kind. She was a loyal friend, a gifted pianist, an advocate for others, a wonderful conversationalist who was genuinely interested in people, and someone who always made others feel seen and valued. We are here today because Alicia made each of our lives richer. Although we miss her deeply, we can take comfort in knowing that her kindness, her laughter, and her love continue to live on through every one of us. I will never not love you, Alicia.
As Lucy said, she would like to hear memories and thoughts of Alicia. We're not all going to do that here today. We do have a reception after the service, and that's also a wonderful time to share your memories and stories. But we will take a few minutes now if you just have a brief story or memory you would like to share and cannot wait. I invite you, just raise your hand and I will bring the mic over to you. 1 minute. And you may not hear it in the room, but we do have people watching at home. So that's who the mic is for. That's why you have to speak into it, but you need to speak loud enough for the group here to hear, because this room doesn't have sound system for here, unfortunately. All right, Susan, one memory, okay? 1 minute.
Alicia's room at the church will always be number one to me. Her love of her speeches today, I hope they're heard by the heavens above, because she didn't really um she didn't really hate me. She loved me, the love-hate relationship. But I loved her. So she was really smart and she was really helpful. And her mother and I got along like two peas in a pod. I remember going over to that suite over there with the rug hanging on the wall to say hi to her mother. Oh, she and her mother will be somewhere planetary waves. Thank you all for being here too.
What? Would anybody else like to?
I'll be quick. I sang with Alicia in the choir that you've heard of, the Voices of Light, and she provided the lower voices that kept us steady. We went into nursing homes where sometimes people were no longer verbal, but when we sang, they joined us. They could still sing and they knew the words, but not so much the tune. And Alicia would always keep us on key because she had the bottom notes and she sang. We knew if we built off Alicia, we'd be fine. She was down there holding us together. It was a delight and a joy to sing with her.
There you go.
So you're all welcome to come here on 176 block. If you can get
Anybody else? We have a shy group. Oh,
Hi, I knew Alicia from going to the NAMI support group meetings, and she always had some idea of what resources would be available for people with mental health challenges.
take my life in my hands here. Where was this?
Hello, my name is Raj. I met Alicia perhaps 10 years ago through Lucinda, I think, around 10 years ago. Yeah. And it was a very kind of a difficult time for me personally in my life. I was feeling pretty low. And I was she just, we would talk and talk and talk. And I'm like, I don't need to go see a therapist. She was so incredible in terms of her knowledge and her passion. And like everyone's saying, she was just so kind and so willing to spend the time and talk. And, you know, as I got to know her better over the time, there were times when we would talk every day, like every day. Around the time that of her mom's passing, it was a really daily thing. And she really helped me, make me feel like family. More so than you. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah. So, and the thing is, not only does she have this capability of listening intently, I mean, really listening, but she remembered everything. I mean, I would tell her some story about some acquaintance of mine 3 weeks later. Something would happen. She goes, "Oh, that's just like so and so." Oh my God, how did you? Just a beautiful person, and yes, as us all. Love her.
I am Russ from Lowell. I'm actually a friend of Alicia's. I don't.
No, we need it for the people at home.
Oh, you do? Okay, sorry. I forgot. I've actually known Alicia for about 20, 25 years, I would say. I met her at the Renaissance Club. Then from there, we actually started the Depression Bipolar Support Alliance group for the Merrimack Valley. We had over 2,000 people attend our meetings. Not in 1 week, but we had everybody from the janitorial job all the way to professionals in PhD, psychiatry, nurses, you name it, surgeons. They used to attend our support group at Lowell General Hospital once a week on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 until 8. But sometimes it lasts until 9:30. They didn't really mind that much. But I'll tell you, I've learned a lot from her. But I'll tell you, whenever I had a bad day, she'd call me. I mean, that was kind of like her brother, I guess, and her sister and her aunt, her mother. She used to talk to them every day. I mean, for hours. I'll tell you, long distance bills must have been very expensive. I was told that by Alicia, but it was a pleasure having her actually facilitate with me because I was the president and she was also vice president. But I'll tell you, we actually attended NAMI, National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, as well for topics because this affects anyone in every family. You may not think so. You may not think so at all. But if you really, really go back into your little head as a child, as a toddler, you've seen things in the family that a lot of people never talked about. They were always in the closet. See, now finally these days, it's finally coming out because I became a psychiatric nurse and actually dealt with care and comfort nursing as well for cancer patients and any type of patients. And I'll tell you, I've learned a lot from Alicia. Oh, one more thing. If you ever need a proofreader, give her the letter. Don't ever have to ask or didn't even have to charge me, thank God. Thank you.
Yep. One more, and then I will.
Hello, my name's Susan, and I met Alicia in 1981. We lived in a apartment in Cambridge together, and we've got a lot of her other roommates here today. So she was extremely kind, of course, very fun. And these were back in the days before we had Google. So I'm a terrible speller. In fact, it's really hard for me to even find a word in a dictionary because I'm not always sure how to start to spell it. So I would go to Alicia and I would ask her how to spell a word. Well, we lived together for sure. Even after we didn't live together, I would still call her and ask her how to spell words. We did keep in touch. We spent holidays together, Mother's Day and sometimes Thanksgiving. We've had some of her friends come over, so it's always been a great bond. So it's been a fantastic time just knowing her throughout the years.
As I said, there'll be a reception just down the hall. And I encourage you to continue these lovely stories. I've learned things I did not know. I didn't know she played Scrabble. I didn't know she was such a good editor. I would have used her. I'd like to invite us into a responsive reading. Your part is very simple. We remember her. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the blueness of the sky and the warmth of summer, we remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. Yes, we remember her. So long as we live, Alicia too shall live, for she is part of all of us who have known and loved her. Often when I would ask Alicia to play at our evening services, she always wanted to sing and play number 1064 in this hymnal. It's called Blue Boat Home. I don't know how many of you know it. The tune is might be more familiar. It's a lullaby, a Welsh lullaby. It's called Blue Boat Home. And I invite you to rise in body and or spirit as we join our voices in her favorite hymn. Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, till my dry heart will sing. I've been sailing all my life now, wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my Thank you, Brian. The teacher takes a beautiful crystal goblet and says, loving this beautiful glass, some people live in fear that someday it will be broken, but the wise person, loving life, knows that the glass is already broken, and thus drinks of life more deeply. Dear Alicia, you knew this too well, how the beautiful glass of life is already broken. And you were wise enough in this truth to still love life, to drink of hope and of friendship and of perseverance as deeply as you could. May we be so wise and brave. Amen. One last thing before we go. Lucinda has gathered some cards and some friendship bracelets from Alicia's home. And they're in the far table if you want to look through and take one. There's also a table that is a display of what mattered most to Alicia. Please leave those, but the other ones on the smaller table, please feel free. Anyway, Brian, play us out.